So now we can move into a little more detail of the red blood cell and look at the hemoglobin that's inside of it. So remember, you have 280 million hemoglobins inside each erythrocyte. A hemoglobin is made of different parts. All the parts here that are brown and tan are the globin part. The globin part is protein. And this is the part that binds carbon dioxide. Notice you have 4 globins. Each one can bind a carbon dioxide, so you can have a carbon dioxide on each one of these. Then in the center, you have this small blue and red thing. That is the heme. The heme has the red in there, which is the iron. The iron is what binds the oxygen. So you have iron on the heme. This is what binds oxygen. And again, you have 4 of these. So each one of those can have an oxygen on it. It's important to note that you can't have oxygen and carbon dioxide at the same time. So the hemoglobin can either have oxygen or it can have carbon dioxide. It cannot have both at the same time. But that's okay, because what happens is you go in the lungs and you pick up oxygen and you drop off carbon dioxide. Then you go to your cells and you do the opposite. You drop off the oxygen and you pick up the carbon dioxide. So it doesn't really need to carry both at the same time anyway. If we look a little more at this bond between iron and oxygen, it is a weak bond. So there's pros and cons to this. The pro of this is that it easily gives up the oxygen to the cells. Remember, the whole point is you want to give oxygen to the cells. If it were a strong bond, it would hold on to the oxygen and not give it to the cells. So the good thing about that bond being weak is that it will give the oxygen to the cells. The bad thing about this is what makes you susceptible to carbon monoxide poisoning. So the con is that the oxygen can be replaced with carbon monoxide. So carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide are 2 different things. CO is carbon monoxide. This is very dangerous. So like you hopefully have a carbon monoxide detector in your house. This is why if you start your car, you open the garage first. This is why you don't use a grill inside, because the grill gives off carbon monoxide. It is a result of combustion anytime something is burned. So like gas in your car, the charcoal in your grill, they're all giving off carbon monoxide. You need a carbon monoxide detector in your house because your furnace And if you have a gas stove, a gas water heater, gas appliances, they all have the potential to give off carbon monoxide. And here's a little tip of how you can tell. When you look at your gas stove, you see the flame, or if you have a gas furnace, you can look inside of it and see the flame. The flame should be blue. If the flame is blue, that's good. That's a clean flame. So there's no carbon monoxide. If you ever look at your stove or your furnace or whatever, and the flame is yellow, that is bad. Yellow means that it's giving off carbon monoxide. So you want to turn the appliance off, get out, and call somebody to come fix it because you don't want to get carbon monoxide poisoning. So what happens with the hemoglobin is when you have both carbon monoxide and oxygen, and here's your hemoglobin, they will compete for it. Since oxygen forms only a weak bond, the carbon monoxide can kick it out. So if you have oxygen on here, carbon monoxide comes along. It's kind of like a big bully. And that's a weak bond holding the oxygen to the heme. So the carbon monoxide kicks the oxygen out, and then it takes its place, binding to the heme. This means that now you're not delivering oxygen to your cells. Okay, so think about what you do with oxygen. Oxygen is used by mitochondria to make ATP. If you don't deliver oxygen to your cells, then your cells can't do cellular respiration and make ATP. They'll have to switch to fermentation. And remember, when you switch to fermentation, you only get 2 ATP instead of 36, like you get when you do have oxygen. And you get lactic acid building up. So one of the early warning signs of carbon monoxide poisoning is that you feel tired. And if you do get carbon monoxide poisoning, the important thing to do is get outside and get fresh air right away. If you stay in there and you keep breathing the carbon monoxide, you'll eventually die. So make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector in your house and pay attention. Get outside if it goes off. So that's the basics of hemoglobin. That's the molecule that you have in your red blood cells that is delivering the oxygen and some of the carbon dioxide, but not all.